Hey guys, and now but we have another Q&A session. So I have had 3 before. They are in the description if you want to see those first, and I will try to make this relatively quickly given I have this many questions on little note cards. These ones, this little packet up here, they're double-sided, so that's fun. Yeah, I'll try to go through them relatively quickly. And I wanted to say one thing, because New Year's is coming up. I know Christmas was before, but New Year's is coming up. I want to know what is like your favorite memory of this channel from this year, you know? Just from 2014, because I'm curious, you know, what did you think was the funniest? What was the best? Just what really stood out in your mind? If you could leave that in the comments first and foremost, if you want to do that now, and then you can comment again later on questions and answers, that'll be great. Now with that quick rambling out of the way, we're gonna move straight on to questions. What is one game that you desperately want to play but don't have the right console? I don't really think that there is a game like that I desperately want to play. If I desperately wanted to play a game, I would have played it by now. You know, if I really like desperately, I would have just bought the console. I don't have like the higher up PlayStation consoles, but I don't really know of the games on there, and the ones that I would want to play are also on other consoles, but I don't desperately want to play anything. There's one game that I really do want to play with my older brother, but I actually have the console. It's a Super Nintendo. I just need to get the cartridge because it's like, you know, 90 or so bucks used. That's expensive. What death battle has been most memorable to you? Now this one is kind of hard just because death battles are constantly brought up, you know, even like my first ones that I've watched are constantly brought up in people commenting on them, so I just go back and see and like, oh yeah, there's that death battle. So I'm not sure if it's just because I've heard about them a lot or recently or things like that. I think the Deadpool versus Deathstroke is gonna stick pretty well because it's one of my favorites, I've gotta say. I thought it was really funny, I thought that the animation was really well done and action-packed, and there's humor and the breaking of the fourth wall. I really like Deadpool as a character. Deathstroke turned out to be really cool, so that one sticks out. Ivy vs. Orchid was really nice. I liked Ivy's fighting style especially, and I thought it was really fun. That whole thing especially, yeah. Things like that. Fox vs. Bucky, because it was my very first one that I watched, and of course it has Fox McCloud, whom I love, and Bucky, you know, he turned out to be cool. I don't really know much about him yet. I still haven't gotten around to watching his show. Maybe someday I will. But yeah, things like that. Do you prefer Five Nights at Freddy's 1 or 2? This one's interesting too. It's kind of a cheating answer. I prefer 1 because it's easier, but I prefer 2 because I think it's better. I think that 2, you know, with the additional animatronics, with the different, like, control scheme, like, everything counters each other, you know, or all the... It's really good at keeping the pressure on you, like I've pointed out before, it's kind of like Night 7 of the first game because you're constantly doing things. Like, if you stop doing things, you will die. I'm stuck on Night 6 right now because it's bloody hard, and I only learned today that Night 7 is actually not impossible on 1020 mode. I thought that it actually was impossible. Not that I've tried it, but I just figured. So it's kind of hard for me to pick. Again, yeah, 1 because it's easier and I can actually beat it. I've proven that on my channel. But number 2 because I just think that it's better. Like, mechanic-wise, gameplay-wise, I like the additional characters, it's cool. Frickin' Balloon Boy. Is there a game theory that you did research on afterward and started to disagree with MatPat? No, because I don't watch game theory with that mindset. I take game theory to be an entertainment show, and while I do learn a lot about the shows, or like the games that he talks about, I don't think that, no, he's like necessarily saying, okay, this is a fact, this is the thing. I'll point out the one where it's like, how fast does Sonic really run? And he proved, you know, quote unquote, that Mario runs faster than Sonic. That's not true. Sonic runs faster than Mario. It's just in terms of the gameplay, if you actually take the measurements, yeah, Mario did move faster than Sonic, and Sonic in like his fastest game, or at least where it actually shows how fast he's running, his fastest speed is not as fast as they claim. But in the canon of the two characters, Sonic runs faster than Mario. That's just a fact. So while I really do appreciate game theory in that episode, I don't dislike him at all, or dislike, I love that episode. I thought it was great. I liked it on my channel. I don't think that he was like genuinely trying to prove, okay, Sonic is not really as fast as the creators say he is. Just in terms of a game, you can only have the characters moving so quickly before it becomes unplayable. Do you enjoy reading novels? I can't say yes, but I can't say no. I've certainly enjoyed reading novels. I read the Warrior Cat series, which answers another question I know. You know, the Hunger Games series, Animorphs was awesome. Aragon, I've read the first 2 books. The thing is, like, once I reached high school, I started taking classes that required reading every day, and I'm not a big reader in terms of, like, it's not the easiest for me to just sit there for like hours and read, you know, especially when it's that kind of educational stuff. And so in having to do, you know, that homework reading, I was just burned out with reading, and I really never picked it up. Like, so I can say, yeah, I can definitely enjoy a novel, but I never read anymore. I just never take the time to pick up a book and commit myself. What's your biggest guilty pleasure? That one, I don't think that I have a guilty pleasure. Because I think to have a guilty pleasure, you have to feel guilt. And I don't really do anything that I really feel guilty about like that. I mean, you know, like, yeah. If something is unpopular, I don't really care. I can like it for the reasons that I like it. I'm aware that my tastes are different than other people's. I'm aware that other people's tastes are different than mine. I think that people should be aware of that as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm an open brony. I'm not hiding that or anything. I listen to heavy metal music a lot of the times. I don't know. I like Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3. I like Spider-Man 3. Lot to complain about, but I like it. I like, you know, Ghost Rider movies and the Green Lantern movie from what I remember when I last watched them, which was once each. But, yeah. Why did you switch to horror games instead of creepypastas? I didn't switch so much as at the time, that's what you guys wanted to see. And horror games are a lot longer to beat. Like, creepypastas, one day and it's done. Horror games, it's like, alright, let's commit a couple months to this game considering I only post those on Friday. So it's not that I've, like, stopped playing creepypasta games, it's just that at the time you guys wanted, like, Five Nights at Freddy's, so I started playing Five Nights at Freddy's, that's all it is. Will I go back to creepypastas one day? Sure, probably. I mean, I did a Looney Game episode fairly recently. I just am trying to beat Five Nights at Freddy's 2 now. And if you guys want to see another horror game after that, then yeah, more creepypastas might be on the hold for longer. What is your favorite video game franchise, and which game in particular? This one, I'm going to cheat on a lot of these answers. You'll have to forgive me. Just love me because I love you. Anyway, favorite video game franchise? I can't pick a favorite. I want to say Star Fox because I'm loyal to that Star Fox. And in terms of my favorite game in the Star Fox franchise, I think that I have to say Star Fox Adventures. A lot of people hate that game because of how different it is from the rest of the other, the other Star Fox games. But I really liked it. I liked Fox as a character in that game. I liked the introduction to Dinosaur Planet, Soria. Crystal's introduction was great. I liked seeing the dynamics between the characters and having Falco return at the end. Spoiler if you haven't played that game, sorry. Things like that. One bits about the ending was really disappointing for me, and I won't say anything more than that because I already spoiled some of it already. But yeah, Star Fox Adventures was great. I also love Fire Emblem, but I have only played 2 of those games. They were both on the Game Boy Advance. One is just called Fire Emblem in North America. The other one is Sacred Stones. I think of those 2, I like the original better, like just Fire Emblem, but Sacred Stones was really cool in that it had like training grounds. You could pick where to go on a map instead of just going, here, then here, then here in a straight, linear pattern. So I wish that aspect were kind of in Fire Emblem, but I like the characters and the story overall, from what I recall, better in Fire Emblem. Matthew's the best, and Guy is awesome, that kind of stuff. When I play that game, I always have the thieves, the Myrmidons, Swordmasters, whatever, assassins, and all the magic users, so that's fun. Right, next series. Legend of Zelda is one of the game series, the franchises that I consider to be epic. When I think about it, I'm just like, well, yeah, how could you not think that? And in that, I think Majora's Mask is probably my favorite that I've played. And then I played like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Four Swords, other stuff like that. And I loved the other games, some less so than others, obviously, but Majora's Mask was just awesome. The masks, the masks were really cool. I thought it was interesting having that 3-day period where you just had to keep going back and doing more and more. And some really depressing storylines in that too. It's fun. So Legend of Zelda, Star Fox, Fire Emblem, I'm just gonna go with those 3 for now. And we're gonna move on. Is your book out yet? And if so, where can I get it? No, my book is not out yet. If you haven't watched my other Q&As yet, I wrote a book last year over the course of, well, I started it earlier, but over the course of November, because that's National Novel Writing Month, I finished it. But I haven't actually really looked at it since. I haven't read through it and edited it yet because I've been kind of discouraged about things, and with school and with YouTube and just keeping me busy. I've made excuses not to look into my story. So no, it is not out yet. It's not done yet. I haven't sent it into publishers or anything. It's about 4 sibling elementally powered wolves, if you didn't know. Life and death, their parents sent them down to the world so they can maintain peace. That's what my book is about. So no, it's not out yet. If I actually get it published, you guys will know right away. Trust me on that. What is your favorite thing to do on weekends and holidays? Well, right now my 2 best friends are away on religious missions, and so I don't really hang out with too many people. And so usually I just chill at home with the family, because I still live at home right now, so I have my mom and my 2 younger brothers here with me, and I just hang out with them, or I play games online with some friends. Nothing too grand. Sometimes I do tabletop role-playing. That's been a lot of fun. I'm still a noob at it, but it's fun when you're with the right people and you have the right story going. So I'll throw those things out. Yeah, I like tabletop RPGs, just hanging with my family, watching movies, that sort of thing. Related to movies, what horror films have you seen? If you guys couldn't tell from watching me play various games, I am a chicken. I jump really, really easily, like even if it's not a scary movie. If there's like a sudden thud, you know, and like the character's like, oh, you scared me. Yeah, that was my reaction too. I jumped at that, and people always laugh at me for it. Anyway, what horror films have I seen? I know that I've seen Scream 2, not the first one, Scream 2. What else? I don't know what it was called. I just, like, someone started watching it without me, and I walked in and just sat down and watched it with them. It was, I think it's fairly recent. It was about spiders, like desert spiders, and they were poisonous, and yeah. Were they camel spiders? Is that what they were called? I really haven't seen many. I think there might be more than that, but that's all that comes to mind. If there are more, it's just like 1 or 2 more, so it doesn't really matter, but I really haven't seen many horror movies. Never really appealed to me. I don't like gore and getting scared and all that. Torture and pain just do not work for me. Who is your favorite Pokemon in Starter Squad? Now, in case you're not familiar with that context, I've done a few Let's Watch episodes of Starter Squad by Shippage on my channel. You can go check them out. They're on playlist, just Starter Squad. My favorite character, I believe, is Squirtle, second being Bulbasaur, and third, obviously, Charmander, if we're just counting those 3. Squirtle, I love his attitude. I think it's funny because, again, he's cocky, but not in the same way that Charmander is. He's cocky and he tries to back it up, but he usually can't. But then he just gets back up every time he's knocked back down, you know? I like that kind of cool confidence, but it has that goofy aspect to it. I don't know, I like him. Would you want to beat 1020 mode on Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Would I want to? Yeah. Would I want to attempt it? No. Who do you think is the scariest animatronic in either game, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 or Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Let me think. Now, since the word scariest was thrown in there, I'm not going to count things like Balloon Boy, who can just, like, stop you from scaring people off, because he himself is not scary, it's what he can do that's scary, so I'm not going to count that. I'm going to think of, like, who do I think is actually the scariest looking, or and how they kill you. So not Balloon Boy, not the puppet. In terms of death animations that I've seen, I think that the scariest one is in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 with old Chica. Because having the mask on and thinking that you did it, thinking you survived the attack, and then suddenly having Chica pop up, I think she's a lot more threatening looking than old Bonnie. Old Bonnie is just kind of like Terminator, have his head's gone, he's reaching up, and you know, like the scream, it startles me, but I think the old Chica's a lot scarier. Foxy's death animation, it's so much better in the second game. In the first one where he just leaned in, that was just fine. I mean, again, the scream would startle me, but it didn't scare me. Okay, right now for me, given that I'm stuck on night 6, the scariest animatronic for me is probably Golden Freddy. So I'm still gonna stick with the whole old Chica has the scariest jump scare kind of thing, but did I say old Freddy? I meant Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy though, like I just barely think I figured out how to stop him. You put the mask on instead of going to the camera. But just how he appears out of nowhere and how he could just like take over your entire screen, it's awful, and I'm sure the story behind him is terrible too. Do you watch Legend of Korra? No, I never even finished the Avatar like Airbender series because again, the book that I'm writing or have written that I need to edit is based on, you know, 4 wolves. Or no, it's not based on. It is 4 wolves that have elemental powers, and I would be thinking all these cool ideas, and they were awesome, and I felt so original and creative, but then I'd watch a few episodes of Avatar, and I'm like, crap, they stole my idea, which means that they just had it first. But, like, I didn't steal any ideas from Avatar. The problem is that I would feel like if I watched it before my book were published, that people would be like, hey, you just copied, and I didn't. And, you know, even if I published it and then watch all the Avatar series, or didn't watch any of it, people would say I copied anyway, so yeah. In answer, no, I haven't watched Legend of Korra. Once I actually finish Avatar, will I watch Legend of Korra? Probably. What's the most common show or cartoon you watch? I assume that means, like, what do you watch most often in terms of, yeah. I watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I don't watch a lot of TV, and that's one of the few series that I actually have kept fairly up to date with. I still haven't seen a lot of season 4, but that might change very soon. Do you have a Wii U? If not, will you ever buy one? I do not have a Wii U, and I might someday. Honestly, the control scheme for the Wii U, having that big old pad, that does not impress me. I was never even too attached to the Wiimotes on just the normal Wii. Yeah, like, with some games, it was awesome. With most games, it was not. I would just prefer, my favorite is just the GameCube. Just give me a GameCube controller and a good, like, story game, you know, RPG if possible. I like RPG games. And it would be great, but with the Wii and the Wii U, I feel like it's almost too gimmicky a lot of the time, so I wasn't really too impressed. Who was your favorite animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Favorite means I can determine why it's favorite, and so I will pick Foxy. First, I like Fox's. Second, I think that it's cool when he jumps at you. But given that this is specifically about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I actually do think it's kind of lame how he just stands at the end of the hallway now. In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, okay, I didn't like how he peeked out of the curtain necessarily, but seeing him sprint down the hallway in the first game was fantastically scary, at least the first time. So I feel like he was kind of done a disservice in the second game, but I really do like his leaping at you animation. Which horror game that you've played was the scariest, and which was the most frustrating? In terms of scariest, I actually think I want to go with right now, I'm Scared, because I quit. Like, I fear quit, I guess? I fear quit that game within the first 5 minutes of playing it. Now, true, I was prepped to quit, because my friend who sent me the link to it, who said I should play it, was all like, yeah, I quit after 5 minutes, I was so scared, and so I started playing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, something terrible is gonna happen, and so I quit, you know, the same thing. And then the next time I played it, I went all the way through. It did have its scary moments. It wasn't very jump scary, it was psychological, and it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I think that it was a very worthwhile and a pretty scary game if you, like, let yourself get into it. There have been other scary games I played, like SCP Containment Breach is another one that really jumps to my mind, and that it was really scary, like having the little cement dude and then having the shadow dude that could walk through walls and doors and everything. I think I'd be safe, and then I see him coming, and I've heard since I've updated it, it's just even worse, like things look better and there are more creatures, and so if I played that, it might be moved up higher on the list. Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's, I want to say was pretty scary, but the scare wore off pretty quickly, then it just became jump scary and frustrating. So moving on to which was the most frustrating, definitely Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2. Do you read Aaron Hunter's Warrior series? Do I? No. Have I? Yes. Mostly. I read all the way through Power of 3, so I got to the fourth season, or yeah, fourth series, whatever. My bookshelf is over there. I have like 3 or 4 of season 4's books. Season just sounds weird to me. Why does that sound weird? I don't know, but I think it's with like Ivy Paw and Dove Paw, right? Or something like that? Yeah. But yeah, I stopped reading. That was about the time when I stopped reading. Or, you know, when I like officially just was, yeah, I don't care. I still bought the books because I figured I would at some point. I never have yet. In terms of my favorite character, because I think that was another question, but I'm not sure I wrote it down on a separate card. Jay Feather was awesome. I love Jay Feather. I hope that wasn't a spoiler giving his warrior name. And I won't say anything else because I don't want to spoil more, but I did get frustrated with him later on in that series. So if you know why, then that's awesome. If you want to know why, you can send me a message on Facebook or YouTube, but yeah, just in case, I don't want to spoil it. Which death battles were your favorite and least favorite? Oh, hard to say. I'm going to again clarify that favorites and least favorites are really hard for me to pick. Being super objective is not what I'm good at. I like subjectivity. You know, I'm like, well, this was pretty good. I wish I remember, like, you know, just not like rating favorite, least favorite, you know, 1 to 10, 5 stars, that kind of thing. It doesn't work out that well for me. I'm ending with this face a lot, aren't I? Yes, I am. Anyway, Deadpool vs. Deathstroke, again, it might be one of my favorites. Well, I know I really like it, because again, funny, action-packed, I like the characters involved, it was really good. Ivy vs. Orchid always jumps to mind because of Ivy's fighting style, the way that they had the fight and portrayed the two characters, the way that they had their jokes set up just so well in that one, in my opinion, from what I recall. So death battles like that. I think that my least favorite, or one of my least favorites, is Link vs. Cloud, because one, you know, I was iffy about the results. Again, I was really set on Cloud winning, so that was just my bad, you know. I still have questions about that death battle, and in terms of the animation, well, nothing about the analyses, like, has stuck, and so it might have been awesome, but it didn't stick with me, or at least hasn't right now, so I can't really go off of that. The animation, while I applaud them for trying something new, it was a little clunky from what I recall, which again, awesome, you know, it wasn't bad, but just compared to other things, it wasn't the best. And I mean other things that they've done. Aside from that, I think Koopa vs. Goomba is fairly far down there, and it's not that I dislike any death battles, I think I've liked them all. You know, except I've had disagreements, but I still can say, yeah, it was a good one. But Koopa vs. Goomba, because there's just those two, like, really low minion characters, the henchmen, you know, that they can't really do all that much, and so, I would have rathered had the battle be shorter than it was, because it felt at a certain point that it was just like stretching what could possibly be done with them. I really loved the ending of that one. I thought it was hilarious. But overall, it's one of the ones that are further down for me. How did you get into Let's Plays? What makes you want to Let's Play a game? Well, how I got into Let's Plays was, first, I came back to live with my family after being away for college for like the first year. I honestly kind of forget. But yeah, I came back, lived with my family again, and I was watching Tobuscus play Slender. You know, just the normal Slender, the very first one, Slender the 8 Pages, and it was fantastic, and it was funny, and, you know, I loved it, and my younger brothers loved it, and then they wanted to watch me play Slender, and I had in the past, and I sucked at it, and so I didn't want them to watch me because I knew I was going to get scared, I knew it was going to be awful, and so I recorded me playing Slender for them, and I posted it on YouTube so they could watch it. And then I started posting other videos, like Limbo, and I tried Lone Survivor. I got like 2 episodes in, didn't know what I was doing, and I quit. You know, stuff like that, but I just kept going, and now here I am. Now what makes me want to play a game, like Let's Play a game, is a lot of it is your input. You know, you guys give me, you know, suggestions, and based upon those suggestions, I look at the game and I'm like, okay, does it look like something that I could enjoy? Because I feel like if I'm not really enjoying a game, you guys probably won't really enjoy the videos that I make playing the game, you know? It just makes sense to me. So I try to determine, is it a game that I like? Is it a game that I feel I should put on my channel? Because there are things, and this also goes along with another question later on, there are things about like maturity, and is there too much gore? Is there like, you know, too much drug, like, mention or encouragement, that kind of stuff, because I don't want that sort of thing, or nudity especially. I don't want that sort of thing on my channel, because it's just not what I want. So things like that, you know, what you guys think, what you guys want to see, because games can take a long time for me to complete on my channel, like it can take a couple months to complete one game kind of deal. So I want something that you guys can be into and that I can be into. Why do you not swear? Well, I don't think that there's any need to swear here. There's plenty of swearing going on everywhere else. Like, most other channels involve swearing. Most everyone, like, outside that I hear has sworn or, like, doesn't really care about it. And it's not that I'm putting myself on, like, a higher moral stand. I just figure that I don't need to. I don't need to swear to get my points across. I don't need to, like, just contribute to that. I was raised religious, and so that does have a big part of it, and that, like, it gave me part of the mindset that I have now. So I don't swear. I didn't because first I was religious. Now I don't because I just don't, and I don't see that there's a need to. I think that swearing can take away from some things. Like if I'm talking to someone and they swear, it just kind of seems to take away from their credibility a little bit. You know, not all the time, but that has happened a certain amount of times, you know, in my course of conversations. So just for a number of reasons, I feel that there's no need to swear. And if there's no need to swear, then why bother? Beyond that, not swearing just opens up so many other things. You know, more people can feel comfortable around you. Like, I know a lot of people on here have thanked me for not swearing because every other channel does, and they can feel like they can watch my videos without feeling super awkward around their parents or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So I just don't. What are the requirements / restrictions regarding requests? I probably should have put this at the beginning, kind of, just because it came to mind. Let's watches! Guys, I can't let's watch every video you recommend. Even if it doesn't, like, no one officially owns it due to copyright, there are still, like, ownership things that I as a person have to respect. Like, I can't watch 1 Minute Melee because I don't have the permission to do so. I can't watch Some Guy Joe's video because you guys want me to, because I don't have the permission to do so. I can't ask permission to watch everything because, well, not everyone is interested in the same videos that you are, and I have asked several people for permission and no one has responded, and it's really frustrating. So basically, no, I kind of just end up ignoring Let's Watch suggestions now. There might be something coming in the future that can kind of remedy that a little bit if you guys are willing to put forth more effort to see those videos. But that's to be seen. Seriously, this face all the time. Anyway, I wouldn't say there are any restrictions regarding posting suggestions. Just if I don't want to play it, if I feel that it's too mature, if I feel that I wouldn't enjoy it, I just won't listen to your suggestion. So if you have something in mind, you know, you can post it in the comments, just please don't spam me with it. You know, people have posted, like, the same comments, play this or watch this on every single one of my videos, and no hate to you guys if you know who you are, because you should. Love you anyway, but please don't do that. So no real restrictions, just go ahead and post it, just don't expect me to. Okay, that's the biggest thing, actually. The requirement is that you cannot expect me to then let's watch or let's play the thing you suggested. You cannot expect me to do that. If you don't, we're cool. Is there a reason you've stayed clear from pony-related things? Would you consider MLP-related requests? I would certainly consider them. Again, you just barely heard my talk about Let's Watches, Let's Plays. I've played MLP-related things like Luna Game and all that. There was a Pinky Pet one. I don't remember. Smile.exe. There we go. As far as why I've stayed away from other things, one, copyright. I couldn't like Let's Watch the series because copyright and I don't have permission. I actually sent a message to Hasbro asking for permission and they responded saying no. So that was fun. Aside from that, my channel's just not a brony channel. Like, I'm a brony, but my channel is not dedicated to My Little Pony or the fandom or anything about that. It can include some things, but it's not dedicated to it. So, yeah, I just haven't. It's not because I'm, like, afraid to or because, you know, trying to hide that or shun the bronies or whatever. It just hasn't come up. You know, people have requested other games, and so that's taken that time there, and there's nothing really to post brony related for me. Still am a brony, it just hasn't happened. Do you have any advice for people going through a rough time, like bullying, depression, etc.? That really is a touchy and difficult subject. Not for me necessarily, but just in general. Now, there isn't one thing that'll work for everybody. You know, everyone has different issues, and everyone has, you know, different ways to overcome their struggles. And so there's not really one thing that anyone can say that would make everything better for everyone. So I'm gonna start by saying, and while I know this can be hard, don't dwell on the bad things, because there are a lot of bad things that you can dwell on. If you can take the happiest guy and you could say, all right, happiest guy in the world, think of the 5 saddest things in your life and just over them in your head all day. And this happiest guy in the world might not be so happy after that, just because if you dwell on those bad things in your life, you forget to see the good, like you miss out on everything that's positive. And then well, as you can imagine, that could certainly make things bad. Another thing is you have to be understanding. If bullying is an issue, especially if it's like verbal bullying, you have to understand that they're coming from their own place. They might not realize exactly where you're coming from. You have to understand that even if they say something directed at you and they did mean to hurt you, it doesn't have to mean anything. And I feel that I do have the right place in saying this because, you know, I'm told a bunch of things being on YouTube, especially with my Let's Watch Death Battles and stuff. People are just throwing comments, insults at me all day. And I just have to know that, yeah, well, they think this, they don't know all about this, it doesn't really matter because this, and I think this about myself, so it's good enough. You have to be able to be happy with who you are. And if you're not happy with who you are, then don't beat yourself up over it, but try to determine what it is exactly that you're not happy about and just seek to change it. I've known a lot of people who are really self-destructive and they hated certain things about themselves, and some things you just can't change. Some things you just have to learn to live with, to be happy about, to love yourself for who you are and all that. Other things they really can pinpoint and you actually can put forth the effort to change it. I've seen a lot of people who knew exactly what was wrong and what they could do even to fix it, and they just wouldn't take those steps. So I'd say that if you're in one of those positions, just take the time, put forth the effort to actually change your life for the better. It might not be easy, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't be worth it in the end. Find people that you can trust that can really support you, because there's going to be a lot of stuff in life, you know, that's going to try to bring you down, and a lot of it would bring you down for good reason. And so you have to be able to have that group or that one person or whatever that you know you can go to if you need to, that you know you can talk to, and that, you know, even if they can't really offer any advice to help, they'll just be there to listen, because sometimes that's all you really need. I know this person specifically said, like, if they're being bullied and they can't go to anyone about it, like a teacher or a parent, and I don't think that that is ever the case. Why could you not go to someone and talk to them if you're feeling like that bad? I think that, like, really ask yourself, if you do think about that, like, in that manner, why can you not approach a parent or a teacher, like, really? And is that really a valid reason? If it is, then I don't know, because I can't think of a valid reason why you shouldn't be able to. If it's not a valid reason, go talk to them, you know? Even if you have to say, like, please keep this to yourself, I just want someone to vent to, I just want someone to know what I'm going through and to understand. But you seek help if you need it. Like, don't wait until it's too late for yourself. Just know that you're awesome and that you can take the steps necessary to get even better. Be aware that everyone else is struggling too. Even, again, the happiest guy in the world, even he has issues. Everyone has issues, everyone deals with them in their own ways. Some people deal with them negatively. There are, of course, some people who just, like the Joker, want to watch the world burn. And you can't help that fact. You just have to move on. Realize that you don't have to involve yourself in all that. You can move above it. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's hard to speak so vaguely about things because every situation, you know, has its own specific circumstances. And giving general advice. It's just kind of difficult on such a broad topic. But really, just know that a lot of the things in life, it can suck. You can move on. Things can get better. If you see the steps that you can take to make things better about a situation or for yourself, don't be afraid to take those steps. So now to move on, if there were Five Nights at Freddy's 3, what animatronic would you add and what would his or her gimmick be? Difficult to say, given that the gimmicks of each of the characters actually depends on what the game's mechanics are. Like you have the gimmick of Balloon Boy, and what he does is he makes it so you cannot flash your light, which is necessary because while you can, put on your mask to avoid the other animatronics, and while you can keep winding the Jack-in-the-Box, if you don't have your light, you can't get Foxy. However, if you're only focusing on your light, then you can't get the Jack-in-the-Box, and so if you're only focusing on the Jack-in-the-Box, you can't get the light or the mask. Like, everything works together in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in order to keep you from, winning really easily. Same thing in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, You could keep the left door open, just keep the right door closed and check the camera, but then you have to Foxy running down. Everything has its own kind of checks and balances, and so it's hard to say a new animatronic for the third one and what gimmick it would be, because it all depends on all the other animatronics, like what doors are available, if there's a hallway, if another animatronic is like the Jack-in-the-Box, the puppet. You really can't say until the development is done, and by that point, there's no point in saying. So I'm sorry to cheat my way out of that question, but I really don't know how to answer it, given that, again, it's necessary to know what the game is like and what other animatronics are there before you can really give your own input. But there should probably be a giraffe. How do you record 3DS gameplay? Well, I actually bought a 3DS, like a new one, and I sent it to this one guy, and he modified it for me, so I can basically plug a USB cable into it and connect to my computer, and there was software, and it lets me record the gameplay. I'll show you really quick. Also, if you Google 3DS capture, you'll find, I think there are 2 sites, there were when I did it, 2 sites that will actually, you send in your 3DS and they'll modify it for you, but it's for the cost of 2 or 3 used 3DSs, so it's really expensive. But so here are my 2 3DSs. I get this blue one, sorry about the light, and the black one here. If you look at the bottoms though, so this one is unmodified. This one though is modified. If you look really closely at the back there, see that USB? There's a USB slot. So that's how that works. Obviously in the back of this one, there's not. So that's how it happens. To buy this, I bought a new one. It was $170, and then the capture device to get it modified and everything was $250 or something. It was bloody expensive, but that's how I do it. Did you see Rainbow Rocks, and what did you think of it? Also, Hasbro purchased DreamWorks. What DreamWorks toy would you want to have? I don't really have a DreamWorks toy that I care about. I don't really know what movies are DreamWorks. I don't pay that much attention. So yeah. As for Rainbow Rocks, I haven't yet seen it, but it is on Netflix, I recently discovered. And I do own it. Haha. Yeah, I own it, but I've never seen it. I didn't see it when it was in theaters, and I still haven't watched it. It's still perfectly wrapped. I do plan on watching it, but I might actually just keep this wrapped and instead watch it on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, and I'm saving it for possibly you guys, because if you recall what I mentioned earlier, how there might be a way that I can let's watch other things, it would just require more work from you. Yeah. What do you think of the Fine Bros? I think their videos are really funny. Seeing those reactions of the elders and the teens especially were really good. And I watched one with celebrities, and that was really funny too, because it was about Japanese commercials. Really funny, really good stuff. Will you do a Draw My Life soon? Soon? I don't know. Sometime, yeah, probably. Again, like, if you guys really, really, really want to see it, and a lot of you do, you know, like, if a lot of you do, you can comment and tell me. My life's not really exciting. Like, I've watched other people's Draw My Life, and I've subscribed to them because of that video, because I'm like, wow, you as a person are really awesome. You've gone through some hard stuff, and look where you are now. Mine's like, I don't know, I went to high school, now I'm here. So it's like, I just feel like it would be boring. Were you bullied at school? I don't want to say bullied, because to me, it has like certain requirements almost, like at least persistent stuff. No, I wouldn't say I was bullied, I was definitely teased. I remember being teased about being a comb-over in elementary. I didn't even know what that meant. And one time in elementary, I decided to wear my purple footy pajamas to school because it was pajama day. Don't wear footy pajamas to school if you don't want to be teased. I learned that. Don't. But it was really fun too, because my footy pajamas would slide on the floor. And that was awesome. Again in elementary, I was one time teased because I brought a toy kangaroo to school with me. And someone made fun of me because, you're enter age here and you have a toy. Yeah, that's not weird. Basically, elementary and junior high, people will make fun of you because they think that they're grown-ups, and they're not. Then in high school, of course, I was made fun of for liking My Little Pony. But that's okay. Of course, again, it's what I would expect. Like, I think it's kind of weird too at first that some, you know, like grown man would like My Little Pony, but it's a good show. I really enjoyed it. Why I got teased for the most part was because I got the toys from McDonald's and they have little clips, and so I clipped them to either my pants, like around my belt loop, or my backpack. That's when people especially teased me for it. But I've turned people who were making it into like a bad situation into one where in the end, like, he ended up respecting me a little bit more because, you know, he was making fun of me and I just kind of, you know, I held my ground. Like, I didn't give in, but I could also like laugh along with him, and so it worked out well. Have I been bullied? No. Have I been teased? Several occasions. And look at me now, I'm just fine. What is your favorite food? Did you like that flash there? A little bit of flair. What is your favorite food? Well, I always say pizza. Pizza's always good. It really depends on who makes it. Same with everything else. Breakfast burritos are delicious when you get the eggs and the sausage in there and you put a bit of sour cream and cheese. That's delicious when made the right way. Stuff like that. I'm a simple man with simple tastes. Give me a good bacon cheeseburger and I love it. Who is your favorite character in Kingdom Hearts? Why? What about the game is most appealing? Now, this is kind of hard because I've played the first one, Rechain of Memories, and then I played it on the Game Boy, no, not the Game Boy Advance, on the PlayStation when it was ported from the Game Boy Advance. And I played like a third of the second one? I don't know. I want to say Riku, assuming that is his name. Again, it's been a while. Riku was cool. I liked him. He's kind of that Sasuke-esque character, like Naruto, you know. Where he's powerful and he's having all these conflicts, like, is he good, is he evil? That's what it seemed to me. He was still like friends with the protagonist, but in that kind of distant way, and I liked him. What about the game is most appealing to me was definitely just the story in general. I remembered many times, especially in Chain of Memories, where I would be going through levels just so I could get to the next cutscene, like where I wouldn't be enjoying myself playing the game, like the stupid underwater levels or anything really that made you transform. Yeah, it was the cutscenes. The story was awesome, which was really bad for Chain of Memories because I got a crappy disc and like half of the cutscenes were skipped. Anyway, did you hear that Aunt May from The Amazing Spider-Man might get her own spin-off movie? No, how would that work? I mean, I like her, but she's Aunt May. Do you have any plans for your next playthrough? Yes, after I beat Spore, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna beat Spore before I beat Omega Ruby. After I beat Spore, I'm gonna play Arkham City, you know, Batman Arkham City. After I beat either that or Pokemon, depending on which gets done first, I will be playing The Walking Dead Season 2. So now you know. What is your favorite Pokemon? Vulpix. It's adorable and I love it. What do you consider too mature? I kinda covered that again earlier. Mostly nudity, I'd say. If it's just, like swearing, I don't like when there's excessive swearing in games all that much, or movies. I think it's just awkward. Just like, I don't like excessive swearing in person. I think there's no point, and it's just kind of awkward, you know, when you reach a certain extent. There's too many, like, drug references, specifically if it's, like, condoning that or encouraging that kind of thing. So there's really no set what is too mature, or at least for me. It's just how I feel about it. I don't know, will I give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down? Is it too much, or does it actually have a part in it, and is that part worth, you know, is it worthwhile overall? If your house was on fire and you only had time to save 3 things, what would they be? If they can't get out on their own, I will save my family. And since it just says things and it doesn't specify size, can I take my room? That's a thing, right? I would already have my wallet in my pocket. I'd already have one of my cool jackets on, so I don't need to take those. Does my entire computer setup count as one thing, or can I just, like, only take my tower? I think I would take my tower, because that was pretty expensive by this point. Okay, I got my computer tower, an external hard drive. See, here's the thing. I have a lot of sentimental stuff. I'm a very sentimental person, but I don't have, like, one thing that is super, super sentimental. I have a lot of little things, you know. I attach, like, a little bit of sentimentality to each little thing. And so it's kind of just a matter of, okay, what's the biggest thing with the biggest cost? Like, what could I really not replace ever? And, yeah, it's hard to say. I guess lastly, my microphone, maybe? I mean, because that one is like $100, and I do have sentimental value too, because my big brother gave it to me, so sure, basically all computer stuff. I'm sad. What is your job, and how do you get permission for Let's Watches? My job is YouTube. This is my job, and I've actually never had another job before. So yeah, I do get paid for videos now. Like, I was doing it long before I was getting paid for it, and I only fairly recently started getting paid. It's been a few months now. Like, the last time, I think in my last Q&A, I said I wasn't getting paid for them, and I wasn't. I wasn't lying to you, just like, after that, I started getting paid. So this is my job. I can't yet support myself fully on it. Like, it's just some money coming in every month, but it has been life-changing already, so thank you guys for supporting me still. How do you get permission for Let's Watches? I will come out totally clear here and say that when I started Let's Watching Death Battle, I did not have permission for it. Because I didn't think it would go anywhere. I had like 300 subscribers at the time, and my little brother just said, hey, you should watch this. And so I'm like, alright, sure, let's watch it. You know, Fox vs. Bucky. I watched it, it was great. Someone saw it, you know, a few people did in the comments, were like, hey, you should watch more. And so I did. I watched another one, and then more people were like, hey, you should watch this one. So I did. I watched that one too. Eventually I was messaged, and they're like, hey, if you could just link back to our original videos, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, you can keep going. I'm like, oh, sorry, yeah, I didn't think I would ever attract the attention of you, the creator of Death Battle, Ben Singer, you know. So I did. You know, I started doing that, of course. It was never at the beginning, and I never feel forced to have to do that. Like, I totally want to give them credit for it. I just honestly thought I would never attract the attention of anyone, let alone them. So I didn't think that I had to. I'm pretty sure that everyone would have already known about, you know, the original video. So, yeah, how do I get permission? Well, if you want to get permission, send a message to them. Send them a nice formal message, and maybe they'll respond. I haven't had a lot of luck with that, but that is how you would do it. Go to their channel, go to their About section, and they'll probably have an email, or they might have an email for like business inquiries. I believe that's where you would go unless you read otherwise. So I will point out, I have permission to Let's Watch Death Battle now, like for now at least. I don't have permission to Let's Watch 1 Minute Melee, or Let's Watch Terminator, or Let's Watch anything else. Oh, except for Starter Squad. I do have permission for that. So it's really hard because a lot of times just people overlook your private messages and stuff. Or they might just say no, like Hasbro did to me. But that is how you would do it. You'd send a formal request, you know, be as nice as you can, as understanding as you can, because it's their content, just asking, may I Let's Watch this? Tell them what that all means, like what does Let's Watching entail? And then yeah. If you could live in any video game world, which would you choose and why? I would choose Pokemon. Why? Because anyone can be awesome in the Pokemon world. First off, there are adventures all around, but you can also have a normal life if you want one. And then, you know, if you want, like, the coolest thing about Pokemon is the fact that there are Pokemon. There are wild animals, wild creatures that have these fantastic abilities. And even, like, a 5-year-old kid can have a best friend who can do, like, anything, you know? So that would be my thing, because if you look at things like Final Fantasy, there are a ton, you know, most of the people are normal people who can't do crap. Fire Emblem, it's just middle-aged stuff, really, with dragons and stuff thrown in, as far as I'm aware. But Pokemon, anyone can be awesome, and Pokemon are cool. So I would pick Pokemon. Do you like ice cream, and if so, what flavor? Of course, who doesn't like ice cream? I love cookies and cream. What do you think about Hulk vs. Mewtwo, Ganondorf vs. Maleficent, and MLP Battle Royale, and Optimus Prime vs. Twilight Sparkle? Want to point out that was not that I think that your question's stupid or anything. I wouldn't think of these as, you know, normal matchups usually. Keep in mind my usual ignorance regarding characters. Even if I know a character, I don't know them, like in this deep analytical sense that Death Battle requires. So it's really hard for me to say. Hulk versus Mewtwo, I don't know, can Hulk withstand psychic powers? Otherwise Mewtwo could just tear Hulk apart with his mind, right? Ganondorf versus Maleficent. I feel like Ganondorf has some magical qualities to him, right? I don't remember him specifically using spells in games that I've played, but he has dark magic, dark powers. I feel like he would win, unless Maleficent has some killing curse that doesn't require him to prick his finger on, you know, I don't know. MLP up Battle Royale. I would hate to see everyone die to Twilight, because I'm pretty sure Twilight would win, unless Rainbow Dash knew to go straight for her. I think it would end up being between Twilight and Rainbow Dash, because if Rainbow Dash could just completely pile drive her at the beginning and knock her senseless, maybe with her speed she could pull it off. But I think with Twilight, with how powerfully magical she is, she definitely has the upper hand. Optimus Prime versus Twilight Sparkle. I don't know, Transformers. Can Optimus Prime, again, withstand magic? Because otherwise I think Twilight would just, from a distance, kill him. What do I think about these battles? I think that they're weird matchups. No offense to you. I think that they're weird. But that's who I think would win with my as educated guess as I can give. Are you gay? As far as I'm aware, no. If you had to choose between orange juice and chocolate chip pancakes, what would your favorite letter of the alphabet be? X. Y? Z. Which is your favorite Sonic game? Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. The story mode, I liked the story mode. There were a lot of issues with the gameplay itself, but I loved the Chow Garden. Chow Garden was probably my favorite part of it. It was great. How would you feel if they made a Sonic and My Little Pony game? Assuming you mean a crossover, I would not be happy with it. I love My Little Pony. I think Sonic is fantastic. I don't like crossovers in general, and these two worlds just seem like complete no's to me. No, I don't want to see that. I would be very disappointed if a game were actually made by the companies. Sorry if that crushes your dreams. Who's your favorite pony? Rainbow Dash. Second favorite? Applejack. What kind of games do you like? I like RPGs, but not every RPG, and I like games that aren't RPGs, but I will say RPGs. If you could combine two characters, what do you think would be the most powerful combination? Now again, I don't know a lot of characters, but I'm gonna say right now, Superman and Deadpool. We'd call him Deadman. Do you feel disturbed in any way while playing a creepypasta? Okay, the word disturbed to me, it's strong in my mind, and so I want to say no, I don't feel disturbed while playing them. Do I find some things disturbing? Yeah. It's more though like waiting for jump scares. It's the anticipation of the creepypasta games I've played so far that's really gotten me. You know, when I see like Sonic with like blood in his eyes and just the blackness and the red pupil kind of thing going on, it doesn't disturb me so much as like, okay, that's a little freaky, you know? I'm not like mentally disturbed by anything though that I've seen yet. Again, that one's kind of hard just because everything is relative, even the word disturbed, which is the key word for me there. What's the best part about being on YouTube for you? The best part for me is that I had no idea, I had one idea of what to do with my life career-wise. I was thinking that I would try to be an author, but I lack confidence in that area. And so this is giving me a chance to actually do something else. This is giving me a career opportunity. If I can keep going in YouTube and it can keep growing, you know, my subscribers, my views, all that good stuff, then I might be able to actually support myself by making videos that people like you can enjoy. So that's the best thing right now, is that getting all of you to support me, I might actually be able to support myself. What has been the most disappointing thing you have played / watched on this channel, and what could have made it better? Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed playing this, and it was especially fun because I was playing it with Dart. One of the most disappointing games I've played though has to be Final Exam. And I'm going to relate it to another game right now because I think that it could have been pulled off a little bit better. I also don't want to spoil too much about Final Exam, not that there's a ton to spoil, but considering I'm still posting it on my channel, yeah. I will say I had a lot of fun playing that game. There were certainly some dull moments for me, but I had a lot of fun playing that game. I enjoyed it overall, but it lacked story. You cannot be there if you're there for the story. You have to be there because it's fun to like beat up zombies with a friend. It's a play this game with a good friend game. Now recently I played with like 3 other YouTubers, Lucky Jack 020 I believe it was, Self-Zero Carson, and Angel Arts. I played Gauntlet. We live streamed it and it was fun. If you're on my Facebook page, you would have seen me posting about it now and then because we were gonna stream it. And it was a lot of fun. And the story there was kind of disappointing because it just dropped off. But at least there was a story that actually tied things together. In Final Exam, it didn't do that, and it introduced all of these characters that were there for like one time and then they were gone. They were never spoken of again for the most part, even if they played like a really crucial role. So that was disappointing to me. I would have liked to see more done with the characters, like have fewer characters, just scrap a lot of them, just have some of them that actually come back that actually mean something more to the plot than, oh hey, I'm needed for this one scene and then I'm done. And then the ending, again, I won't spoil that, but change the ending. No, that's bad. Do you ever go to conventions? If so, what kind? Yeah, I do go to conventions now and then. But just local ones, because I don't have a lot of money. Again, this is my only job, this is my only source of income, and I don't make a ton. So, right now, yeah, there's a local Comic-Con, because I live in Utah, so there's a Salt Lake Comic-Con, it's not too far. And then there was a pony convention, Crystal Mountain Pony Con, so I've really just gone to Comic-Con and a pony convention, My Little Pony convention, and they've both been a lot of fun, so yeah, I'm hoping I could go to more in the future. I have, like, usually when I go to conventions, it's not to see cosplayers, it's just to go and watch people at panels because I find a topic that I like and I go and I watch people talk about it or whatever. So that's my fun at it, or going with my big brother, hanging out with friends, that kind of thing. Who do you want to see in Death Battle? Toph. That's really it. Why do you play creepypasta games? Because you guys recommend them. If it weren't for you guys, I would not play these games. I would simply watch other people play them. Do you have a P.O. box? I remember this person specified, like, so we could send you Christmas goodies or something. Thank you for the thought. I know by this point it would be far too late, but I actually don't have a P.O. box at the moment because, you know, you have to pay for that, and I didn't see a reason to. Would you guys actually be interested in sending me things? I mean, if I got enough things sent in, maybe I could even have like a video where I opened up mail and stuff. That would be fun, but I just figured that that's not gonna happen. So no, I don't have a P.O. box. If enough of you are really inclined to actually make that something, make that a thing, maybe we can do it someday. Which video game systems do or have you owned? Give me a minute to think about that. Nintendo DS, DS Lite, 3DS, Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, Xbox and Xbox 360, Wii, and I believe that's it. What do you think about Mewtwo being a DLC in Super Smash Bros. 4? I think it's cool enough. A lot of people were excited to see Mewtwo. I personally, you know, I'm not too attached to things. Again, like in Death Battle, if someone I like dies, it's like, ah, dang it, but good job anyway. You know, that kind of thing. So I'm not super attached to a lot of things. I wasn't distraught when Mewtwo was taken out, so I'm not over thrilled that he's brought back in. But I have to say, if you're gonna bring back Mewtwo, I feel that they should also offer DLCs for other characters that they've removed, like Roy, and maybe they are going to, I don't know. That's what the question asks. What would you be doing now if not for YouTube? I don't know, because time does not work that simply. But I like to think that I would be working on writing. I like to think that I would have finished my book by this point and actually sent it out and would be working on revisions currently. At what age did you realize who you were as a person? I don't know. I haven't reached that age yet. I'm still not sure who I am. I don't know myself as well as you might think. You know, and a lot of you probably don't know yourselves as well as you might think either. I can't say who I am as a person because my opinion about myself changes in a day, you know, like in the middle of the day I can be like, yeah, you know, I'm a pretty good person. At the end of the day I'm like, wow, I'm awful, I suck. So it depends, you know. I know that I want to do this as my career right now, and I'm really hoping that it can keep growing and that I can actually be able to support myself at one point. So if that's what you mean by realize who you are as a person, not long ago, considering I started like 2 years ago, maybe about 3 by this point, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But I can't really offer a solid answer there, because I don't think I know who I am as a person yet. What's the one thing that angers you about the Brony community? This one I can't say just one thing, and I can't say just one thing about the Brony community either, because it's not the community, it's the fact that there are humans in the community. So that means it's the same thing for any other community or fan base or anything in existence, because there are people in it, there are gonna be bad things in it. One thing that I hate is hypocrisy. So for the bronies, specifically for bronies here, for the bronies who are all about like love and tolerate and stuff, when they don't love and tolerate, when they flame people for not being bronies, for hating on bronies, for something completely unrelated, that's just stupid, because again, hypocrisy, and I'm a hypocrite. Not that I do that, but just in other things. Anyway, it's super annoying when bronies say all bronies are good. It's super annoying when bronies say all anti-bronies are bad. It's super annoying when, well, it is super annoying when anti-bronies are anti-bronies, because there's no need to be an anti-brony. Stop it. Another thing I really dislike is when people automatically hate bronies who are cloppers, and if you don't know what that term means, it means bronies who like porn based upon My Little Pony. And I think that that's stupid to automatically hate someone based upon that, because that's hating someone based upon a porn preference. It doesn't mean a thing about who they are as a person. It doesn't affect you in any way. So don't be so ignorant. Like, it's stupid. So it's not really anything I hate about the brony community. It's just what I hate about some people in general, like characteristics or ideas or whatever that people can actually have. And really quick, for those of you who are confused about how bronyism is a thing, like how boys can be fans of My Little Pony, just the same way that they can be fans of G.I. Joe, Transformers, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Doctor Who, it's just a fan base. Have you seen the Sonic Boom or Pokemon XY shows? No, I have not. How would you get permission to let's watch something if the creator has passed away? Very carefully. I mean, honestly, if they didn't, you know, if they weren't run by someone higher up and they didn't like leave the content to anyone else, you technically can't. Have you ever been in a power outage without electronics? Many times. What do you do to pass the time? Well, I'm very close to my family, and so we just hang out, we talk. We would do that anyway, whether the power is, you know, on or not. So, yeah, we just hang out. I've certainly played my share of board games. That's been a lot of fun, you know, we've just gone over our days, our plans, or whatever. If it's bright enough you could read, that's something. I've had power go out in the middle of the day. There's a lot you can do without electronics. Just be creative. Will you start your own Twitch account for live streaming games and stuff? I would have to get a lot of people interested in it, because doing YouTube already takes up a lot of my time, and so I'd either have to take like a day out of that, you know, for good, to have my Twitch account on that day, but even that would be kind of hard, just because I can't guarantee that every day I'll have the same time slot free or whatever, or even every, you know, one day every week free. So I don't have any plans to have my own Twitch account. If you guys would be interested in watching me do stuff live, you can let me know. I've never streamed anything before, so I would be super new to it. But yeah. Do you plan on collaborating with other gaming channels? I don't plan on it. I'm open to it if I want to do it, you know? So I apologize. If you ask me, don't expect me to collaborate with you, and accept my no if I say no. That's just kind of how it is. So no plans, but I'm sure it'll happen some point. How has this channel changed you? I can't say how it's changed me because I've been with me since I started this channel. And you know how changes, as gradual as they are, you can't really notice them all the time. I can certainly say that now it's giving me the hope and the opportunity where I can make this my career, where I can live like this, you know, like creating content and making you guys happy, and then you can be with me and you're like, yeah, we like this stuff, and I can be happy about that. And so yeah, that's been good. What problems do you face when recording? There are always the fears of my microphone again being muted like it was for an entire Walking Dead episode, or recently, even though the light has been on, sometimes it just has stopped responding, which is very frightening because I'm not sure if my mic is breaking or if I'm just nudging the cord on accident or what. So that's an issue. Outside noise can sometimes be an issue. Lighting can definitely be an issue. I have 2 lamps right now in the corners, and that's why there are always shadows behind me. My chair can be an issue. My back has been hurting lately. If you've noticed this pillow, it's because my back has been hurting, so that's nice. I need to get a better chair. This chair is breaking. I realized fairly recently that you can feel in the back of the chair where, like, the adjustment thing, or I don't know, something about it, where it is, and it's just this hard, like, bump. It's like lying on a rock when you're camping kind of deal, and I didn't notice it until recently. Looking good for the camera. As shallow as that might seem, I think that it's important to do your best to look presentable. And that can be difficult on some days. Okay, if I'm gonna be honest, problems faced when recording. I guess this is not really when recording. The biggest thing is just to stop being lazy. Sometimes I just have to be like, well, I don't want to shower, because then if I shower, that means that I'm clean and have to record. And so I have to get myself to do that, you know, just to put forth the effort. So nothing too serious, really. I have my recording set up all good. So as long as my equipment keeps working, that's fine. What's a fun fact about you? I don't know if it's fun, but I've never been stung by a bee, therefore they kind of terrify me. Oh, hey, what equipment do you use to record your videos? Well, hold on. I have this baby. My Blue Yeti microphone. Hopefully that didn't just unplug it, or, you know, that kind of subtle thing. I have a Logitech C920 webcam. I have, again, these 2 lamps. I don't know what they are exactly. They're just lamps. They have bright white light bulb kind of stuff. The swirly ones, I don't know, fluorescent. I use the Logitech webcam software that came with the webcam to record my webcam. I'm currently using Bandicam to record my gameplay. For 3DS gameplay, again, I showed you what my 3DS, the modification was on the bottom. I use Audacity for some brief audio edits, just like noise removal, and then I use compressor. And then I use Sony Movie Studio 12 or 13? 13. I just checked. Sony Movie Studio Platinum 13 for my editing software. I was using Sony Vegas, but it was really expensive, and I just dropped down to Movie 13 because it did everything basically that I needed it to do. So that's my equipment. Who are your favorite YouTubers? Keep in mind, I don't really watch Let's Players anymore because I'm a Let's Player and I keep things blind. And so after I play a game series, I get to go and watch that on my favorite, you know, Let's Players games. And really, my favorite YouTubers are Let's Players. 3 of them, which I've said before, Tobuscus, Markiplier, and PewDiePie. If I can meet them, that'd be fantastic, and someday I will. Someday. Aside from that, I like Pro Jared, I like Game Theory, I like Did You Know Gaming, I like Fine Bros. Film Cow was really funny with like llamas with hats, and Charlie the Unicorn. That took me 2 seconds, I swear. I know I cut there, but 2 seconds kind of thing. Tomska's great. Yeah. Have you seen Star Wars? What is your opinion? I have, and I like it. Even the first 3. Would you like to see a death battle between characters from horror movies? Again, I haven't really seen any horror movies, so would I like to? No. Would I dislike to? No. Well, kind of no. I feel like Death Battle, while it is about pop culture characters, I feel like that's more comics, movies, video game, or not movies, comics and video games. And so having those kind of strictly movie characters, especially when it's specific to a genre, not my favorite. How many Death Battle combatants do you have merchandise of? Well, not a ton, because as you know, I'm ignorant of a lot of the combatants, and so why would I get a merchandise of something that I don't know? But I have, like Mario, Luigi, Sonic, Tails, and some of this is like I shared with little brothers kind of stuff. Yoshi, obviously, I have a lot of them. Fox, I have a cardboard cutout kind of deal that you saw in Fox vs. Bucky. I held it up all proudly. Rainbow Dash, obviously have Rainbow Dash. We have a little Link toy, that's kind of fun. Koopa, I'm not counting. I'm not counting, I'm sorry. Not a ton, I think that's it. So we're gonna move on. Do you watch Hunger Games? I do, I've seen all 3 movies so far and I've enjoyed them. It certainly gets darker when you get into those further books. Well, okay, darker's iffy because the first 2 books are about like kids killing kids. And the third one though, it really gets into like the behind the scenes of politics of war. And to me, well, in a movie perspective, it changed. It definitely changed. But I still like it. It's still good. Why do you dislike fighting games? Well, frankly, because I'm not good at them. And I never really have been, and I haven't really tried to get better. The longest I've played a fighting game was with Soul Calibur 2, 4? I don't know. One of them had Link in it, and one of them had Star Wars people in it, like Vader and Starkiller, I think it was. They were fun for a while, basically, until I went up against my stepfather, who's not my stepfather anymore. He was at the time, and he just whooped me. And I was like, wow, I'm apparently awful at these games, or like this game in particular, and I just didn't care anymore. I know someone said, like, and I didn't include this on the card, someone said, if I could train you to be better at fighting games, would you let's play them? The answer is no. Thank you for the offer, but no. Basically, if I don't feel like I'm good at a game, I don't enjoy it. That's why I don't enjoy, like, RTS games, real-time strategy games all that much, because I've just never been great at them. And when I'm playing something and it's only frustrating, that's not fun. It's not. Last question. I say this for last for a very specific reason. Do you have a pet? Give me a moment. Let me go get him. Okay, this is my pet. His name is Purpur. He's adorable. Say hi, Purpur. Say hi, buddy. Look on YouTube. You're a star. Yeah, he's not too happy to be here, but he's adorable, and I love him. And he never comes in my room because he's a little bugger, and he'll play with my toys and take them out. And he's torn a toy apart before, and so no, he's not allowed to do that. But yeah, I do love him. I call him names and stuff, but he's being sweet on my lap. Anyway, so that wraps up all of these questions, and given that it's been like an hour and a half recording this, I'm probably going to end up having to split this into 2 parts, because I didn't have that many blank pauses where like I would be able to skip and make up a lot of time. So probably going to be posted up in 2 parts, just so you guys can watch it at your leisure kind of deal. I hope that you guys enjoyed this well enough. I hope that my answers satisfied you. I know a lot of them were kind of cheating a little bit, but hey, to be fair, the answers are kind of vague. The questions were vague sometimes. If you have any other last-minute questions and you weren't able to, or you completely missed the announcement of a Q&A video, go ahead and ask in the comments. I'll see if I can answer some more. I won't be doing this forever, obviously, but if you ask within a reasonable amount of time, you know, yeah, I can answer your questions just in the comments, so let me know. And again, if you haven't already, I'd like to know what your, like, favorite parts from this channel, like, favorite memories of this channel are from 2014. So if you could leave that in the comments as well, I'd really appreciate it. But we will indeed call it here. So with all that, thanks for watching! I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, of course, feel free to leave a like, comment, and if you're new, even subscribe. It means a lot, it really helps me out, and I would love to have you guys. So, tune in next time for my next video. Until then, take care. Cue outro, go!